Alright people, what's going on? Space Cowboy here. Welcome back to the channel. Got another video for you guys today. Before we get started with today's video, please make sure to drop a like down below. It helps the channel out a lot, so please make sure to continue to do so. Also, make sure to subscribe if you're new here to get more Dallas Cowboys content from yours truly now and in the future, and finally hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live or post new content. So, I understand that there isn't a whole lot of Cowboys news going on. Obviously, training camp is coming up, which we'll talk about as we get closer. Now, here's the thing. Jamal Adams was just recently traded to the Seattle Seahawks. In case you're wondering what the trade deal was like, it is as follows. According to Adam Schefter, the Jets will give Jamal Adams and a 4th-round pick in 2022 to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for Bradley McDougald, who is a safety, a 1st-round pick in 2021, 3rd-round pick in 2021, a 1st-round pick in 2022. So that's a lot of draft capital to give up for a guy like Jamal Adams. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying that Jamal Adams is a bad player, okay? He's an elite player at his position with the skill set that he has. The question that I have is, well, what do you do from there? Now, if you're Seattle, this is one of those, like, okay, we're trying to make our team as a whole better and go from there. And some people have been telling me, oh, you know, we should have pulled the trigger, we should have got him. But here's the thing, guys. The Dallas Cowboys have drafted well, okay? And the last thing we want to do is get rid of that premier draft capital for a position that would be more of a luxury thing to have. Now, some people will say, well, with Amari Cooper, we needed a wide receiver. Why can't we say the same thing about the safety position? Here's the thing. When we needed a wide receiver, it was clearly evident that was a primary issue on our offense. That's why we gave up that premier draft capital to get a guy like a Amari Cooper. And things worked out well. And we remember the defense was not playing bad at all. The main reason that the defense fell off this year was because you lose a guy in Leighton Vander Esch who helps your defense out tremendously. The defensive line wasn't helping at all, and the cornerbacks were being taught incorrect techniques, okay? We already have solid guys as is at certain positions, okay? And I understand that many of us want to have an elite safety. Talking to me, yeah, I want an elite safety, absolutely. I would love to have one, but the thing is that you're not going to make every single position elite, okay? And so, for me, I think that we know that the Dallas Cowboys could have easily gotten a guy at safety with early draft capital if they really wanted to, but they didn't because they're stuck with their board. And I'm more so talking about this year. I don't really count the previous years because now that's, a different coaching staff and stuff like that. But getting back to the question at hand is going to be like, okay, so did the Cowboys miss out, or did the Cowboys make a mistake in letting Jamal Adams, go to another? They didn't. Because if I'm the Jets, this is perfect. You get 2 premier draft picks that will help you out in the long run. And not only that, it's just, like, the whole thing is that with the Jets doing what they did, they were looking for top-end draft capital. Now, I don't know what other teams were probably looking for. We don't know. But the fact is that Seattle giving up that much, God forbid something happens to key players and they end up going 8-8, 7-9. That's a top-end pick you give up, right? And again, the hindsight will be 20/20 because we don't know what's going to happen with Seattle in the future. We don't know what's going to happen with the Jets in the future, right? For all we know, the Jets still suck, and maybe, the Seahawks continue to be relevant and stuff like that. But again, they still have to pay Jamal Adams, right? And because they have to pay him that type of money, that causes them to, lose out on other forms of spending money in certain other areas. So, for example, the offensive line for Seattle could definitely use a complete upgrade. They haven't been able to do that of recent. They haven't been drafting very well over the past couple years. So, I mean, if you're Seattle, you're banking on the team you have now and, your later round picks doing the workload more. And if I'm the Cowboys, okay, the fact is that even if the Cowboys were to land Jamal Adams, and even if it was a 1st-round pick, that's still a lot, right? And you don't know what's going to happen. You might lose someone to retirement. Like, you might have a Travis Frederick situation where it's like, oh, snap, we didn't expect this guy to retire, and he does, and now you got to go fill that hole somewhere else, which the Cowboys were able to do later in the draft. But you don't know what's going to happen, and so like for all we know, what happens if Seattle trades Seattle trading these picks away, and someone that's key to their team retires suddenly? Now they can't use that first round pick to get a guy and have him for quite some time, right? So I want to just bring this back around. Did the Cowboys miss out on Jamal Adams, or are they going to make a mistake? No, they're not, because they already have the team they want constructed. Their offensive line's on lock for the next couple of years. They have their running back, they have an elite running back under contract. They got an elite wide receiver under contract. And they have a couple of their other key pieces on their offense under contract. The quarterback, they still need to give him his money, but we'll see what happens there. Defense, you got your guy in DeMarcus Lawrence, okay? You brought in some key guys here and there. Your linebackers, you just brought back, you have Jalen Smith, and now you have Leighton Vander Esch for some time. Your cornerbacks, you have a couple guys in contract years, but you did get some guys in the draft. So the Cowboys have positioned themselves nicely, so as long as they continue to draft well as they have, they'll be fine. Getting rid of top draft capital is not good, regardless of it's a top, because I know people want to say like, oh, well, it's going to be pick 32 or it's going to be at least pick 27, stuff like that, right? And like you have guys like Lamar Jackson, quarterback, pick 32, T.J. Watt, pick 28, if I recall, Ryan Ramczyk, Tre'Davious White, Byron Jones, Travis Frederick, Alec Ogletree, DeAndre Hopkins. All of these guys were late first round picks, okay? And because you miss out on those guys, guess what? You could easily have gotten them if you had first round picks. If you didn't have a first round pick, I get it. Some teams don't draft well, I get that. And so sometimes those players slide down. But if you know the player's good and you gave away a first round pick for a guy that like you could have possibly gotten, elsewhere, that's different. And again, people would try to compare this to the Amari Cooper situation, be like, why can't we trade a first round draft capital for a guy like Jamal Adams, or we can do to a guy like Amari Cooper? The thing is that safety is a more easier position to plug a hole in than wide receiver. What I mean by that is, it's easier to find. I think it's based off of my research. I feel like it's harder to find a elite wide receiver than to find an elite safety, because, like, a wide receiver is what you need. Elite wide receivers to complement your quarterback, right? But to have an elite safety, I would say, is a luxury to have on your team, especially if the rest of your defense is good. Now, I think we'll be fine. I think the Dallas Cowboys will continue to do well into the mid-2000s, 2020s, I should say. What am I talking about? But listen, guys, don't be afraid that we missed out on Jamal Adams. Someone was going to take the bait. Seattle took the bait, and here we are. And I'm telling you, you guys will be lucky that we missed out on Jamal Adams, or rather we didn't pull the trigger, because if we had, odds are we're down a bunch of draft capital or a player. Okay? So, with all that in mind, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to drop a like down below. It helps the channel out a lot, so please make sure to continue to do so. And thank you for reaching the end of this video. Make sure to subscribe if you forgot to do so, and also hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live or post new content. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.